Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei had the powers of imagination. Now, before I continue on with this what if, this is a lovely what if idea that I just thought about a while ago, and not a while ago, literally the whole day. It's just I couldn't do it because, well, I had to be fixing my fence because it got blown off from its hinges thanks to the fucking wind. No thanks to this fucking place that I live in. But not the point. Now, before I continue on, let me explain the powers of imagination. It's going to be kind of similar to that of Gringy. I don't fucking remember this guy's name. I just remember it's from one of the, what was those fucking people called from Bleach? Those Quincy's again? What was it? The ones that have powers, okay? Well, all Quincy's have power, but not the point. The ones that have special abilities aren't usually working for you. Well, mostly this motherfucker. I don't remember his goddamn name half the time. It's going to kind of remind me of Grimmery, but I think it's Grimmery? Not Grimmery? Kind of like Greamy. Something like that. I don't fucking remember. But I remember doing a what if of this guy on my first channel. I just remember discontinuing it. I really didn't remember too much of this details, guy, but I just remember the power of imagination. That's what he had. I probably shouldn't discontinue on that what if. I should probably continue it on and just make my own shit on. But not the point. But not the point here or there. Let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin because I don't have much time before I gotta hit the hay and go to sleep. Now I don't know why I'm fucking speaking never mind. I should also mention that my legs fucking hurt like hell from a lot of shit, but yeah, not that point here or there. Let me begin into the what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin before I ramble on like an idiot. So, we begin into this what if. Also, before I kind of go on, the powers of imagination are going to kind of be connected to that of shonen, mostly a bunch of manga. What's it called? Comics and other things. So mostly some of the powers are going to be kind of anime, manga, shonen, maybe some comics and Marvel and DC. Not the point. Now, when I mean power of imagination, I mean literally he can probably just imagine some stuff and there he has the power. But I'll explain much more detail into the what if, but not the point right now. Let me begin to this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and yeah. So, let's begin into this what if. So yeah, sorry about rambling on, guys, but yeah. Let me begin. So, also, I know before I go on, I know one thing that some people are going to ask me a while for mostly, I know people are going to ask me for either, some of the what ifs, like, where's what if, Naruto, what if Issei had, well, what's it called, a Minecraft Sacred Gear? Yeah, I will do that later. I am right now too lazy for it right now. But then there's other ones that I'm continuing on, like the White Flame Monarch. I'm gonna continue that one on. Of course, the White Flame Monarch Issei isn't going to really help anyone if it doesn't benefit himself, but not the point. Of course, I just wanted to kind of say that, but not the point. Also, there's other what ifs I am still continuing on. Also, the Dragon Monarch I am going to definitely finish in 4 parts. Probably. I don't know many characters, but I have already an idea of an ending. So yeah. But not the point. I know some people really want me to finish some of the what ifs, but the problem is I don't know many what's it called, DXD characters. Mostly I only know the anime character ones, not the light novel, and definitely not the manga. Not the manga or the light novel, because I haven't reached that far into the manga. I kind of read it a couple times, but yeah, not gonna lie, reading the manga takes me a while. If it was a webtoon, I probably would have finished it in a couple of seconds. But not the point. If it was a very interesting webtoon. But not the point, sorry, I'm rambling on right now. But yeah, if you really want me to try to finish it, I will try, but not the point. Also, before I go on, yeah, no, that's all of it. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on right now. But let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. So we go into Issei. Well, mostly Issei, who goes towards mostly the school called Ko Academy. he's right now kind of running away from mostly an angry mob of girls, thanks to his two idiotic friends named Murahama and Matsui. Now, they are both kind of also running along with Issei to get away from the girls. Now, wait. So, he's right now running away like hell from the girls, and this is where, well, his two idiotic friends are right next to him, kind of being, well, two idiots that, well, mostly one of his friends is basically a bald idiot while the other one is kind of a glasses idiot. Let me explain. So one has glasses and does have kind of longish, shortish black hair, but his name is Murahama, while the other one is named, well, Matsui, because of not because, mostly he is bald and has his eyes always closed, but not the point. But this is where, well, mostly Issei is trying to run away from the girls, the angry mob from his two idiotic friends that actually did some stupid shit that actually made a bunch of girls chase after them. So yeah, one in the one girl in the like in the mob kind of scream out saying, "Don't let those perverts get away, kill them." This is where, well, the three perverts are trying to get away. Or, well, two of them. One of them just kind of got dragged into this shit, but yeah. So, yeah, this is where, well, mostly all three of them are running away, running around the whole entire school until they manage to ditch the girls. Now, the problem is they didn't really manage to ditch the girls. The girls are still trying to go after them, just hunting style, but this is where, well, we go into mostly both of the boys kind of saying, "Hey, Issei, you know what you should do? You should probably be bait and let us get away." This is where, well, before they can even do anything, they look into Issei's eyes, and this is where Issei's eyes went crimson for a second. This is where, well, it appeared with three tomoyas in his eyes, in each of them. And, of course, where, well, they became red. This is where, well, Issei said, "No, you know what? You guys decide to do it yourselves, while I will escape, you motherfuckers." Listen, well, mostly the two of them nodded and of course decided to go away. They're under a kind of illusion. Listen, well, Issei, who is kind of just looking at them right now, turns off his eyes and right now runs off, but yeah. But this is where, well, he only kind of uses the abilities just in case his two friends really piss him off, or mostly the fact that sometimes he just wants to get away with a bunch of stuff. But that's not the point here or there. He doesn't really use his powers too often. He kind of does use it sometimes. But, well. But this is where, well, we go into mostly, both of, we go into mostly, not both. We go into mostly Issei kind of, well, being on top of the school building. And, of course, right now reading, manga. He's right now reading Shonen Jump. And this is where, well, he is right now reading Bleach. And on one of the chapters where mostly a special character shows up, and of course this fight against the main character and also somewhat the old mostly antagonist in the story, who used to be sealed up, but you get the point. If you haven't actually realized, it's basically Yuhaba versus Ichigo and Aizen. So yeah, but mostly he is reading this, and this is where, well, he loves the ability that Yuhaba is using. The Almighty, the ability to see into the future, but not just see into the future, alternate the future by actually being able to see all the possible chances of the future. But yeah. But this is where, well, we go into mostly that happening, and we go into, well, no, sorry, I'm a little tired, but not the point. So I might accidentally say some of my words twice, but yeah, sorry about that. Let me go back to what if. But this is where, well, mostly he just loves this story and of course seeing the battle until mostly he got interrupted. Because someone actually kind of went up towards the roof to kind of, well, really they wanted to just chill and really not deal with half of anyone in the school. Or mostly they just wanted to relax, see the wind and other things. But this is where, well, it was none other than, well, Sona Sifri, or mostly Sona Shatora. This is where, well, when she opens the door, she sees none other than one of the perverted trio, mostly the leader himself, right now reading manga. This is where, well, She was surprised to actually see him and thought he already left. But this is where, well, when he noticed her kind of appear, this is where, well, he kind of just ignored her entirely and went back to reading the manga. Of course, where, well, both of them did have a silence pause for a second until mostly, yeah, Issei went back to reading the manga. But this is where, well, mostly Sona decided to try to ignore him. And of course, this is where, well, she went to sit in the other side of mostly the opposite side from him. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei keeps reading the manga, and of course, he really doesn't care. Until this is where, well, he looks at his watch to kind of, because he does have a watch. This is where, well, he realized that it's actually almost time to kind of go home. And this is where, well, he gets off from where he was sitting, and this is where, well, he decides to kind of starts walking towards the door of the exit of mostly the roof. This is where, well, he kind of gets towards the rooftop, but of course glances one more time at Sona, but decides to ignore her entirely. This is where, well, we go into mostly Issei going home. This is where, well, he did hear screams in the background while he was kind of reading his manga, mostly his chapter. But yeah, this is where, well, it was basically his two idiotic friends getting the freaking life beaten out of them. Because yes, they did kind of say that they wanted Issei to be the distraction, but Issei is not stupid enough, and he always decides to do this. It's not just one time, it's multiple times that he has done this. Because he doesn't really care about his friends' kind of well-being. Because he knows that those two are just pricks. And they try to use them, use him as, well, mostly a meat shield. But of course, he is not a meat shield and will never be a meat shield towards anyone. He's cruel, well, he's kind of very cruel than normal people can actually expect. He doesn't care about people's feelings, he doesn't care about anyone at all. The only reason why he's so cruel towards mostly this day is from a while ago, he did kind of, well, how should I say, lost some things. In middle school, well, he lost a couple of things. First, when he was younger, he lost mostly his best friend, kind of going to another school. But of course, having his kind of old friend actually in the same school as his. Of course, he found out that it was actually a girl instead of a guy, which is actually surprising and shocking and annoying that mostly the person doesn't actually talk to him no more. Probably because of the fact that he's one of the perverted trio. But he knows that the perverted trio is just a disguise for him because he really doesn't like people at all. He doesn't like talking to them, he doesn't like doing any of that. He just uses the two idiotic friends, mostly Monohama and Matsui, to kind of spread rumors about how they're all perverts, even Issei, even though Issei never cared. Issei is one of the most cruelest kind of people you can ever meet. He will be so cruel that he is not nice at all. He doesn't care about your feelings, he doesn't care about anything. This is where, well, the only thing he cares about life is literally just reading his manga, reading his comics, and being alone. He doesn't care about anyone at all. And that also means that if his two idiotic friends decide to push their luck and trying to use him as a meat shield, he will basically use his own abilities to make them fucking do that themselves by using themselves as a meat shield. While Issei decides to walk away and doesn't care. This is where, well, he's not really having, well, he is done playing nice. He did that in middle school 1 year, and of course, he just stopped being nice altogether. He was quite nice, brilliant, and cheerful when it was 6th grade. Now it's no longer 6th grade, and he is one of the cruelest, most evilest people in the entire campus. He might be even more cruel than the devil themselves. Probably even crueler than, well, crueler than, well, mostly Crumb Crotch, or not Crumb Crotch, was it Crumb, what was his name, fuck, I forgot his name, but you get the point. He's quite very evil and doesn't care about anyone, but that's not the point here or there. Now, I know, before I continue on, I know someone's going to ask me, like, when am I gonna do What If Issei was the successor of the Hogakyu? Don't worry, that will be later on, probably when I'm not working and I finish the fucking fence, because that should still go down, but not the point. Now, let's kind of go back into the story, sorry about that. But, we go into mostly Issei kind of going home. Now, he's about to start kind of walking away from school entirely, until a girl with blackish hair kind of appears. Of course, she has magenta eyes, and this is where, well, she has a school kind of uniform, even though it's already past, like, we'll see, school hours, because, well, Issei didn't really leave the school campus until, like, 5 o'clock. But this is where, well, mostly the girl kind of, right now, she tries to talk in a very kind of shy, kind of, like, mute tone voice, trying to be cute and other things. Of course, Issei ignores it entirely. The girl kind of goes, this where, well, Issei turns around because he heard it the first time, he just ignored it entirely. Issei right now turns around with mostly somewhat of a perverted grin. He's trying to false it. Mostly it's a false perverted grin, but this is where, well, in the inside, he says, what the fuck is this bitch even wants? This is where, well, mostly the girl says, you're Issei Haidu, the girl said. This is where Issei said, the fuck? Yes, that's my name. The fuck you want me to spell it out for you? Damn it, this is so annoying. I'm about to be late for this shit. What the hell does he want fully? This is where, well, the girl says, would you like to go on a date with me? This is where, well, Issei just looks at her with these blank eyes and then says, ha, sure. This is where, well, Issei only says sure was because he's not even gonna show up. He doesn't care. He really does not give a damn about this bitch at all. Well, he didn't say sure. He then says no. This is where, well, Issei's face kind of just went down towards mostly gloom and annoyed. This is where, well, mostly the girl was surprised, and this is where Issei just started fucking walking away without a care in the world. This is where, well, she was shocked, dumbfounded, and what the fuck just happened. She thought the perverted, mostly one of the perverted trios, what's it called, Kuo, was actually going to say yes. Now, she did have a Kuo uniform, but this is where, well, she was just shocked, dumbfounded, and just, what the fuck? Well, Issei started walking away without a damn in the whole, without a care in the whole world. This is where, well, she was just dumbfounded and shocked. Now, we go into mostly Issei kind of getting home, and this is where, well, Issei went, well, kind of unlocked his door, went inside and says, Mom, Dad, I'm home. This is where, well, he said it with mostly an expressionless face. He didn't have any happiness, no angriness, no nothing, it was just emotionless. This is where, well, he locked the door behind him. Now, the house has been kind of empty for a while. There's not that many pictures. There's some pictures of mostly two, like, older, mostly older kind of people in some of the pictures, and some of them are having a child, mostly like this kid, middle schooler kid, or mostly middle schooler, elementary student, and other things, or mostly kid in some of the pictures, but mostly it hasn't had any recent ones. None of the kind of 7th, 8th, or even 9th grade kind of pictures, mostly from the kid that kind of just walked into this house. It's none other than Issei. The reason why is because mostly, well, no one really lives here except for Issei. Issei is the only one that lives in this house. Now, you might be expecting where his parents are at. Well, his parents are literally dead. They died in an incident. Not even an incident. It was probably something on purpose entirely. Issei doesn't know too much, but he doesn't care. You see here, his parents were kind of good people. I say were kind of because they really didn't look at Issei with happiness most of the time. Mostly, they did give him that whole happiness, a normal childhood and other things, but it was mostly due to well, kind of annoying to them a little bit. Now, Issei knew about how his parents felt about him entirely, which he doesn't care about his parents' death. Entirely, not really. You see here, his parents' death was kind of a blessing in disguise. He doesn't care about them entirely because they really never did care about him entirely neither. They did make perverted jokes around him, like thinking he was already old enough to kind of already know half of the shit, which he wasn't. But yet, he was, so that happened. Of course, he was a nice boy, he was a kind kid when he was in 6th grade, but after that, no more. He doesn't care. He really doesn't care. But we go into Issei kind of going into his room, of course, where he turns on the TV, kind of goes onto YouTube, and starts watching a new latest video from none other than Vanoss Gaming. Yes, he started watching something called, well, He was watching the Vanos gaming video until mostly after that video, he started kind of watching anime, and the anime that he started watching was basically Seven Deadly Sins. Even though he already kind of seen this, what they call anime, he just got bored and decided to watch it again. He watches basically the episode where, well, mostly Esterosa gets his ass kicked by Escanor, but yeah, mostly mostly the sin of pride. So yeah, one of the 7 deadly sins, the sin of pride. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Issei is watching this, and this is where, well, he feels the urge to kind of like, well, get out of his house and probably go outside, just because he doesn't care too much. And this is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of like getting outside. Right now, Issei's casual clothing, casual clothing kind of looks like this. So he's basically wearing a purple, well, long sleeve turtleneck kind of, well, mostly shirt. This is where, well, he's wearing a kind of black coat. And this is where, well, he's also wearing a, what's it called, black pants with black shoes, black Air Forces especially, but yeah, not the point. This is where, well, those shoes are, yeah, black Air Forces, but not the point. He's always on Black Force energy, but yeah. Now, we go into mostly him kind of getting outside towards mostly mostly night. But yeah, it's kind of already turned dark. But not the point here and there. This is where, well, he is right now walking around until mostly he was kind of thinking to kind of, well, go to the park, which he does. He goes to the park and just walks around. Now, the park isn't closed because, well, it's a park. So, yeah, you can basically think, yeah, it's not going to get closed at all unless it's in this, not destruction, construction. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei is looking around until he feels this weird ominous energy, but he really doesn't care. Until someone appears with basically having a fedora, a kind of mostly grayish coat outfit, and this is where, well, he has kind of grayish hair. Now, this is where, well, the person does have, what's it called, grayish hair, and this is where, well, he does kind of have like this older kind of like face kind of expression on his face. Mostly because, well, not older, mostly he just has an older kind of face, and this is where, well, he kind of has grayish eyes, and he narrows his eyes as, well, mostly Issei. This is where, well, he kind of just says, well, you're a human, and you aren't anything special. Actually, I do feel something special from you, but it doesn't matter. I guess I can just kill you. I guess everything would be fine. Now, really, Issei isn't really at the part of the public forest, because you see here, Issei is kind of near the, well, he's in the park, but not near where people can see him. But yeah, because mostly you see here, it's kind of, well, better to just walk around the forest for him. He really has done this multiple times, and nothing really happened. If anything else happened, like a mugger or some kind of person trying to murder him, yeah, they always die. It's not Issei that dies. They literally die from, well, unknown. But you see here, Issei doesn't really kill them. They basically kind of just jump off a bridge and kill themselves. Maybe because of Issei's abilities, who knows? But this is where, well, Issei kind of just narrowed his eyes at the person and really didn't care that much. He just waves it off. Until this is where, well, the person decides to throw a light spear, a blue light spear, straight towards Issei's chest, hitting him right in the heart. This is where, well, mostly Issei falls down backwards, and this is where, well, the person says, you see here, you brat. The name was Donaseek, but I guess you're too much of a moron and too much of an idiotic human to think that, well, a human like you can just ignore a being like me. This is where, well, he started walking away, chuckling a little bit, but this is where, well, before he walks away, he hears like this evil laughter. We go into mostly the laughter, what it kind of sounds like. It sounded like this. We go into Donaseek kind of feeling unnerved. This is where when he turns around, he sees none other than the human boy still be alive. The human boy is literally standing there looking like everything is fine. But this is where, well, his cloak entirely is mostly covered with this darkness, kind of all around him. Mostly, you can only see his legs, just by a coincidence, because mostly darkness is appearing around him. This is where darkness actually appears over his eyes, mostly his head entirely. Of course, still showing off his like lower face, but this is where, well, he is laughing like a madman. This is where, well, eyes started appearing from mostly the darkness. This is where multiple eyes, all yellow. This is where, well, they all looked at mostly Donosik, and Donosik feels unnerved with this child. This is where, well, Issei grins, says, now you shall fall into despair. You see here, you want to know who my name was? My name is Yuhama, and I will show you the true power of the Almighty. This is where, well, we go into mostly a couple of seconds time skip, mostly into the public kind of place of the park. Now, there's some people walking, and a girl kind of right now crying her kind of eyes because she never thought that she was ever gonna get rejected. And of course, a bluish hair girl and mostly a kind of blondish hair girl is just trying to comfort this girl. Even a girl with kind of whitish hair, even though she just kind of just followed because why not? This is where, well, mostly just wanted to see if these fallen angels would get stronger or not. But this is where, well, of course, there was another blondish hair. Mostly she was smaller, but she was confused. And what the fuck even happened? Now, that's not the point here or there, but they're mostly kind of just walking. But this is where, well, something kind of just fly past him and smashes into the fountain. This is where, well, he has a kind of like bow and arrow kind of just piercing his stomach. And this is where he coughing up blood. It's like, how can that human be like so strong? This is where, well, it's none other than Donosik, and this is where all of the fallen angels just kind of like flinches in an instant because they were confused and shocked. Even the white hair confused. But this is where, well, they see from the, well, corner of their eyes something walking out of the forest. This is where, well, is none other than Issei Haidu. This is where, well, everyone knows about Issei Haidu because he's none other than the perverted beast from Kuo. And this is where, well, some of them do know with him, but really, mostly the white hair does know. The little blonde hair girl, she's still kind of in middle school, but because, yeah, but this is where, well, they're all shocked to see him just walking out of the forest. This is where, well, you annoying human, how can you be this strong? This is where, well, mostly Issei said, what are you talking about? Me? Strong? Don't know what you're talking about. This is where he noticed what's it called, the other people, which he doesn't pay too much attention to them. He really doesn't care. If he has to, he will use his other abilities to erase their mind and memories, if they're not really a part of the supernatural already, which he doesn't care if he has to kill them. This is where, well, mostly Donosik gets up, and this is where he spreads out 3 wings, mostly 2 extra wings from his back. He already had 1 wing, but this is where, well, he shows he's a 6 angel, well, mostly a 3-winged fallen angel, mostly 3 pairs of wings. This is where, well, Donosik says, I won't die just because you're stronger than normal human. You will die! This is where he throws a light spear, multiple of them, at mostly, well, Issei. Issei looks at this, and they all stab into him, and this is where, well, mostly all the light spears then just disappear. Mostly just went past his body and appeared behind him. This is where Issei is laughing, saying, wow, that was quite interesting. And yet, you didn't even hit me even once. Quite pathetic you are, you know that? This is where, well, mostly, well, Donosik was enraged and rushes straight towards Issei. He tried to stab at Issei this time. This is where, well, Issei then puts his hand right in front of Donosik, and Donosik was confused, but this is where, well, Issei grins and a hole appears right into Donosik's kind of like lower kind of, well, mostly like lower stomach. This is where, well, a massive hole. This is where, well, Donosik whined his eye. This is where, well, he tried to jump back away, and he says, where do you think you're going? We haven't even finished our little game, and you think to just run away? Why do you think you should run away? You shall fall into despair. Just like the fact that you wanted me to fall into despair, but that'd be better for you. You pathetic little insolent crow. This is where, well, mostly Donosik is gritting his teeth and glaring at the human child. Or supposed to be human child. This is where, well, Donosik says, I don't know how you managed to dodge my light spears. That's impossible. No one can dodge them. I'm stronger than you. I'm better than you. Issei said, And how was that supposed to help you? You might be stronger, faster, and everything better than me, but you really suck. This is where Don in 6th grade has teeth saying, I am the danger, you bastard! You should be fearing me because I am the dangerous person here. This is where, Issei looks at him and grins. Mostly has a little smirking grin on his face, which can literally show mostly a lot of ominous kind of. Mostly the grin isn't normal because it's ominous most of the time. And this is where it's also kind of sinister, but this is where, Issei says, danger? Well. This is where Issei starts laughing and just madness, and this is where Issei says, you think that I'm in danger? No! This is where, Issei kind of just goes on saying, you see here, you are not the danger. I'm not in danger from you. This is where, Issei says, you see here, do you know who I am? Well, you don't. Unless you read the manga, but not the point. This is where, he then says, but you don't know who I am entirely. You see here. He then kind of, this is where, Issei says, who do you think you are talking to right now? You see here, I'm not in danger. You see here, I am the danger. The name's Yuhaba, and you have fallen against me. You are such a little pathetic crow. This is where, mostly Don in 6th grade his teeth saying, you're just an insolent human. You don't know who you're talking to. This is where, Issei says, who do you think I am talking to you? Not you entirely. You're just a pathetic crow. Why would I talk to such a pathetic crow like you? You don't know anything about me. This is where Don in 6th says, die! He tries to mostly make a light sword to try to cut off Issei's head. And this is where he actually managed to do it, but only what he sees. This is where, Issei's head kind of appears back after a while because he alternates the future. This is where, Don in 6th was surprised because when he stands there, he sees Issei with his head still intact. This is where Issei grins, and this is where his eyes are mostly not just one eye in, mostly where his eyes at. There's multiple eyes and just as mostly where you can see. This is where Issei is laughing saying, oh, you really fucked up, you see here. This is where Issei says, let me explain about my ability. You see here, the power that I have is called Almighty. The power to see the future. But not just the future. I can alternate the future. What you see most of the time, every time you attack me and kill me and other things, is basically one of the futures that you can possibly get. But I can alternate it to the fact that you never hit me in the first place. Instead, you miss. Because there's futures like that. This is where, mostly Don in 6th wind his eyes and step back because he just wind his eyes seeing how Issei's power is more dangerous than expected. This is where Issei said, now, if you don't mind me, let's have a little bit more fun. I won't use the Almighty. Instead, hit me with your best shot. This is where, mostly Don in 6th said, I don't feel like doing it. Issei said, hit me. Don't you want me to die? Don't worry, I will not use the Almighty. Don't worry. Look here, I have my eyes closed because the Almighty is connected to my eyes. Hit me. This is where, mostly Don in 6th grade his teeth and throws a light spear straight into Issei's chest. Multiple of them. This is where, Issei right now falls backwards. And this is where Don in 6th thought he actually managed to kill Issei. This is where he then laughs and says, yes, I actually killed someone like you. You're not a god. Even if you think that power is cool, this is where he then hears cackling. This is where, Don in 6th wind his eyes, mostly his hope that was in his eyes just went away. Instead, it's all full of despair. We go into Issei. His face is starting to ignite. Fire is starting to crackle from his face. This is where, mostly Issei started kind of mostly twisting, and of course his body started kind of twisting and twirling around. And this is where, like if he was having a spaz attack. This is where Issei is cackling. This is where, Issei opened his eyes and they were basically just black entirely until his body ignited with fire entirely. And this is where, he is wearing a leather kind of jacket coat, a leather kind of shirt, but not the point. Wearing some leather pants. And this is where, he does have chains around him, but this is where, he also has, mostly black kind of shoes, not the point, but this is where, his head is now on fire. Mostly his hands, where you can used to think that to see flesh, and mostly just flesh and nails and his what's it called hands. They're basically bones. But not just that. They're right now on fire. His head is on fire. And this is where Issei is cackling and saying, "Wow, I can't believe you actually fought for that. Well, it's time to bring you to the depths of the 9 realms of hell. Where do you belong, you stupid crow?" This is where, well, most sheep don't say, "What are you?" "My name is Ghost Rider. Now, don't run away from me, little crow. We gotta see those little worst nightmares. Well, mostly those deepest, cruelest fears that you have in your body." This is where Donasik says, "No, no, get away from me." This is where he tries to fly up. Now, of course, Donasik does notice the other fallen angels and even what's called one of the mostly a white dragon user, mostly the white dragon empress. But this is where, he really doesn't call out for them because he's only in this kind of like mostly this what's it called temple kind of vision that he only sees Issei right in front of him, because Issei has scared the shit out of him so much that the only thing that he can see is Issei and nothing else around him. So think of it like when the Sharingan, or mostly not the Sharingan, when you don't have the Sharingan and Kakashi uses the what's it called Chidori without the Sharingan, he does get like something called temple kind of, or mostly tunnel vision. And what I usually think of tunnel vision is basically just allows him not to kind of be able to see anything else around him. But that's not the point. Mostly I'm just gonna call it that, but whatever. This is where, well, Donasik is kind of scared. This is where Donasik was thinking of flying away, but this is where his leg was grabbed in an instant with fiery chains. Right now, pulling his shit down straight towards Issei. Issei grabs him from both of the arms and says, "Look into my eyes. Let's see those fears that you have inside you." This is where, well, Donasik says, "No, no, no!" He's screaming, saying, "Let go, let go." This is where he's crying, falling down to the ground, and this is where, well, he is broken. This is where, well, Issei's cackling and saying, "Oh, don't be like that. We only saw a couple of it. Come on, get up. You're not already dead, are you? You're not broken to the max." This is where, well, mostly Donasik is just dull. He's emotionless. Issei said, "Let's see if I can do this." This is where Issei's hand, one of his hands became blue, and this is where he actually healed not Issei, mostly Donasik's head. Donasik was confused. He feels normal, but this is where, well, he's still on his like Ghost Rider form. He did use a little bit of the Angel Rider. Now, if you haven't understand what the Angel Rider is, it's basically the blue flame version of it. But yeah. Now, I do remember someone asking me for a what if Issei was Ghost Rider. Don't worry, I might think of doing that later, but maybe later. I don't know when, okay? Not the point. Let me go back into the what if. But this is where, well, Donasik looks up and says, "Why did you?" This is where Issei says, "Because we're not done. We're not done at all. You should be burning into the torturing flames. You see here, your head isn't fully healed. Don't worry. What I have planned for you is for you to go to hell. Really, well, mostly hell by me. You're a friendly Ghost Rider." This is where, well, Donasik says, "Stay away from me." He tries to crawl away until Issei says, "You can't do that. You can't just run away. That would be rude of you to do." This is where, well, Issei kind of like stomps on one of Donasik's arms, and this is where Donasik is screaming in pain and suffering. And this is where, well, mostly Issei says, "Don't do that. It makes me sad that you want to leave. But if you want to leave so bad, then let me help you." This is where, well, mostly Issei unravels his like fiery chains from mostly his next one, because he did put them back when after pulling Donasik. This is where he takes him off his like mostly shoulder, and this is where, well, he then turns him to fire, grabbing Donasik from the leg, launching his shit up to the sky, and this is where Issei says, "Now it's time for you to visit hell, you little crow." This is where Donasik says, "Please, have mercy." This is where Issei smashes into the ground. And this is where the ground right now sends Donasik straight to the 9 realms of the fiery hell. None other than actual hell and not the underworld. But yeah. So if you never watched Ghost Rider, this is what it kind of looked like when he threw Donasik into the, well, sending him to hell. But yeah. But yeah, that's how it kind of looked like. And this is where, well, Donisik is now gone. There is a big ass hole there, but this is where, well, Issei ignores the hole entirely. Now, where do you think that hole is actually in the park? Well, you see here is actually the fountain. Yeah, Issei destroyed the fountain a while ago. Yeah, he really didn't give a damn. This is where, well, Issei kind of like closes his arms into an X and then spread them out, feeling the glory until he mostly just transformed out of Ghost Rider style. This is where, well, mostly he then goes back to normal. His flesh goes back to, well, his normal tannish skin. His eyes goes back to a goldenish kind of brown. And this is where, well, his brownish hair appears back to normal. This is where Issei is grinning like an evil bastard. And this is where, well, he then noticed the other kind of fallen angels. This is where, well, Issei said, so, do you also want to fight? This is where, well, Issei said with such a cruel smile. And this is where, well, all of them just blinks at him with mostly terrified eyes. Even one girl who actually loves the feeling despair is actually kind of fearing Issei entirely. And this is where, well, one girl actually isn't fearing. She does have a kind of sinister, well, not sinister side. She actually does want to fight Issei because she is a kind of battle maniac. But right now she's feeling not the greatest because, well, mostly her kind of dragon is telling her to not fight him. That is the most stupidest fucking idea to do. This is what, well, Issei looks at mostly all of them, and they seem to just be blinking out of thin air. Well, mostly not blinking out of thin air. They're right now just scared shitless. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, wow, I didn't expect to actually scare the shit out of all of them. Should I make them forget? Or should I threaten them? Maybe I should threaten them. Nah. For right now, I should make them forget my fucking, well, idea and who I am entirely. This is where, well, Issei says Kyoka Sugetsu. This is where, well, mostly he pulls out a sword out of nowhere. And this is where, well, I mean, the sword is called Kyoka Sugetsu, but mostly he then says Bankai Yukio Kyoka Sugetsu. This is where, well, he basically erases their memories entirely of what the fuck they just saw. This is where, well, we go into Issei disappearing from their sight, and this is where, well, we go back into them just kind of wondering what the fuck happened because they were just blinking there for a couple of seconds because they came back to reality. This is where, well, they don't actually remember what exactly happened. This is where, well, they all feel still very fearful of something, but they don't understand what they're actually fearing entirely. Their body is reacting without them even knowing what the fuck they're fearing in the first place. But they actually just decide to make a magic circle and disappear. But yeah. But we go into Issei kind of going home and actually kind of grinning like a madman. He feels much better instead of all the pent up, well, mostly stress from school and bullshit. From other shit from mostly the school that he goes to. But yeah. He actually just likes scaring the hell out of people, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly he then gets up, and this is where, well, he is, well, not getting up. Mostly he is kind of going towards his house and going to sleep. But yeah, we go into the next day, and Issei is now kind of waking up the next day and going to his house. I mean, not his house, the school. But he's thinking of ditching it, which he does. He literally decides to ditch school and goes to mostly work. Now, where he actually works, you would expect that he probably works at basically some fast food place or whatever. No, he literally works for being a fucking hitman. But yeah, this is where, well, his hitman name is none other than John Wick. He's not that original, but fuck you. This is where, well, he basically kind of is a hitman who basically kills people with very interesting items. He kills 300 people with a pencil, a number 2 fucking pencil. Well, not 300 people, 20 people with a number 2 pencil, but yeah. He basically John Wicked their ass, but yeah, not the point. So, we go into mostly a time skip of mostly Issei going to his job, killing some people, and coming back home. Really, he just skipped the whole day of school. What are they gonna do, call his parents? What parents does he have? Literally, they're already dead, so he doesn't care. He didn't really care about showing up to school, but not the point. We go into a time skip of mostly, well, 2 people dying at a park. Basically from some fallen angels, and they were none other than Murahama and Matsui. This is where, well, they do have sacred gears inside them, so of course they were turned into devils, but of course I have to keep a secret From the fact that they are devils from Issei, but this is where Issei already knows that they're devils entirely. And yet doesn't care about them entirely at all. You see here, Issei doesn't care about his friends and doesn't care about anyone. I already mentioned this, he is already cruel. He's a cruel son of a bitch and doesn't care. But yeah, it doesn't matter who he tortures, who he manipulates, who he will fucking use for his own benefits. He doesn't care. Doesn't work, Mom. We go into mostly a time skip later on. Mostly, we go into a fallen church, and of course, someone kind of being there. Well, mostly a fallen angel who was actually a very strong fallen angel, and he's actually a very dangerous fallen angel to be in what's it called, devil territory. But mostly, his name is Kokobell, none other than Kokobell. In other words, mostly Issei's other words is basically Cocoa Bean, because, well, he's beating the shit out of Kokobell. He's not doing this out of fame, glory, or any of that shit. He's just doing it out of fucking boredom. And he wanted to see if he can really fucking put fear into a fallen angel who basically just lusts for battle a lot. This is where, well, he wanted to know if he can actually put fucking fear into someone. He wants to know if he can put that well, mostly he wants to put a smile on that face. But not the point. This is where, well, Kokobell is right now really hurt. He is really dangerously hurt against Issei. Now, you see here, he had an army of fallen rogue angels and even rogue exorcists, but they were all already dead. They're all on the ground dead. This is how mostly Issei is right now on top of some of the dead bodies. Now, we go into mostly how Issei kind of looks like. He's right now mostly underneath him is a bunch of dead bodies. His eyes are kind of having this like bluish glow and yet yellowish glow. And this is where, well, his hair is kind of colored in crimson blood, thanks to his enemies. And this is where, well, he's breathing out, and this is where frost kind of comes out of his mouth. And this is where, well, he kind of just grins at Kokobell, and Kokobell grits his teeth in anger and annoyment from this person. Yet he thought this person was just a normal human child, and he can probably just crush him and kill him. Think again, his army is slaughter. They were nothing but just fodder against this person. And he thought he was strong, but until he realized that Issei has the power of imagination. And Issei's power literally grew from a while ago. You see here, Kokobell was actually one of the reasons why his parents literally died. But he doesn't actually do it out of revenge. He actually thanks Kokobell for the fact that he killed his parents. The reason why is because Issei can now live normally as he fucking wants to. No more nagging, no more bullshit, no more nothing or selfishness that they actually believe that they were better than him. He thanks Kokobell. He literally gives him a pat on the back until he blows a hole through what's it called, Kokobell, by making an air cannon from his hand. This is where Kokobell grit his teeth. Of course, he sent a large light spear straight towards Issei, but this is where Issei dodges like, ooh, you almost hit me there. But I guess you still miss. You really do suck. Then again, I did kill some freaking fallen angel with 6 wings. He had grayish hair and, of course, a kind of grayish outfit. You can probably know him. I think his name was Donut. I don't know what his name was, but I did make him a fucking donut at one point. Before I really did send him to hell. This is where, well, Issei is kind of grinning at, what's it called, Donut. Donut is right now, well, not Donut, mostly, Kokobell is kind of looking at him with murderous eyes. Not because Donut did get killed, from the fact that mostly Issei is just playing with him at this point. Really doesn't care about anyone. You see here, Issei really just doesn't give a damn. He can be cruel as fuck and he doesn't care. This Issei really just doesn't care. But this is where, well, Kokobell says, I will not die. You will die. I will kill you. I'll make you suffer. This is where, well, Issei says, really? You'll make me suffer? In what way? Are you going to rip my bones out from my body? Are you going to cut off my arms? Oh, let me show you what I mean about cutting off an arm. Issei cuts off one of his arms, and it was literally his left hand, and blood was splattering down on the ground. Kokobell won his eyes. Issei says, what? Do you want a free arm? Look here, I'm helping you. Issei then shoves his hand into his stomach in an instant and just pull out one of his like organs and says, look, I'm helping. I'm giving you a free little handicap. Just because you can't do it yourself, you can't kill me at all. This is where, well, Kokubil is gritting his teeth in an instant. He hates the fact that this human is literally just fucking taunting him at once. But he needs to get out of here. He can't just be falling against his taunt. He is a fallen angel and a bloodlusted one of them. One of the most bloodlusted fallen angels, and one of them that might just actually take the freebie, maybe. But he's not stupid. He knows that this human is literally taunting him. This human is not normal. This human does not care. This human can be cruel as fuck and he doesn't give a damn. Kokubil right now launches up in the air right now, showing off 5 pairs of wings. Or, yeah, 5 parrots. I mean, he has 10. And this is where, well, Kokubil says, until next time, human, I'll be leaving. You can take that blondish hair girl and leave. This is where Issei says, who, her? What should I need with her anyway? She quite pisses me off. Her aura. Is she a dragon tamer? Huh. That really annoys me. Should probably kill her. This is where Issei activates his boosted gear in an instant. This is where Kokubil winds his eyes. This is the Red Dragon Emperor. He was never expecting this child to be the Red Dragon Emperor. With the powers of whatever the fuck he can do, the power of literally imagination, because literally he found out that Issei has the power of imagination, and yet with the power of the boosted gear, he now knows that this child is unstoppable. No, this child does not care about anyone. He shows no mercy towards his enemies, and less mercy to those who are potentially would be allies to his. Because Issei is literally thinking of actually killing Ozzy Argento. He doesn't care about anyone. This is where, well, mostly Kokubil has seen a monster right now be born right in front of him. He was never expecting this child to be so dangerous, so cruel, so merciless. This is where, well, Issei was about to kill the, what's it called, well, kind of, well, maiden named Ozzy Argento. But before doing that, he felt mostly demonic energy actually appearing near the church. This is where, well, he's in the underground, and this is where Kokubil also feels the devils. And this is where, well, he just says, wow, devils are actually showing up. Could it be the fact that they're actually here for that bishop over there, or not bishop, how should I say, maiden? She does have a powerful sacred gear. Should be quite useful now that I think about it. Issei walks up to mostly Ozzy Argento, and this is where, well, he destroys the chains, and this is where he slaps the shit out of Ozzy to wake her up in an instant. This is where, well, Ozzy was confused. Kokubil was right now more confused, until Issei pulls out his sword and right now kind of hypnotized, what's it called, Ozzy Argento. But she doesn't really know that she's hypnotized until she fell down asleep. This is where Issei says, you'll be good for my plans in the near future. Wow, time for me to leave. This is where, well, Issei right now turns off his boosted gear and says, well, Kokubil, until next time. Besides, I should be leaving, but I should leave you with a gift, a parting gift. This is where Issei appears behind him, ripping out all 10 wings out of mostly Kokubil's back. Kokubil right now screams in just frustration, anger, and right now just pain. But I should mention one thing. It's just not the devils are actually here. Also some exorcists, because they felt the holy energy of an Excalibur here. Or not an Excalibur, mostly a fallen angel here. But also some other people. This is where, well, the rooftop actually exploded with mostly a bluish, well, a whitish kind of silverish glow. And there's none other than, well, the kind of white empress, the white dragon empress. She felt the power of the boosted gear here, but is confused. This is where what she sees is down on the ground, bleeding from someone's back, is none other than Kokubil. Kokubil is gritting his teeth saying, you son of a bitch! You white dragon emperor bastard! Ah! This is where, well, people managed to rush down because they heard pain and screaming. And this is where also they felt the rooftop exploded. This is where, well, there were some fallen angels, exorcists that were ignoring the devils for right now because they felt the screams and other things. Well, not felt them, mostly felt the pain of someone screaming, and when they went downstairs, they saw none other than Kokubil. But Kokubil without wings entirely. They were literally on the ground burning right now with these crimson flames. This is where, well, Kokubil screams out saying, Red Dragon Emperor, I'll get my revenge. I'll make you suffer and die. Ah! This is where, well, Kokubil is screaming in pain and anger and just so much frustration against the now new familiar Red Dragon Emperor. This Red Dragon Emperor is quite cruel and doesn't care. This is where, well, mostly Kokubil is like, so much pain. This is where, well, mostly Crocodile passes out from so much pain. Or he doesn't pass out, but mostly he just glares at the devils, some of the fallen, and this is where the White Dragon Empress and even the Exorcist, get the fuck away from me! This is where he sends multiple light spears at everyone. Everyone widen their eyes because those light spears are quite big, but this is where the White Dragon Empress managed to divide all the powers. Managing to actually get rid of all the light spears. This is where Crocodile says, damn it, I need to get out of here. Damn you, Red Dragon! This is where, well, he screams out in anger and just anguish. This is where, well, the White Dragon Empress matches defeated him pretty easily because he couldn't really fly. And this is where, well, mostly, well, everyone is confused because he's screaming out the Red Dragon Emperor and just right now anger, anguish, and just frustration. This is where Albion can just conclude towards Valerie that basically the Red Dragon Emperor appears here, destroying Crocodile, literally fucking him up by ripping out his 10 wings, which he never seen this, and possible he might. This is where, well, Albion just tells Valerie to be careful. He doesn't know how cruel the Red Dragon Emperor is. Whoever the Red Dragon Emperor is, this person is cruel. He noticed all the dead bodies lying down, even in a pile. And this is where, well, he sees Crocodile right now, just anger, frustration, and pain, and blood actually appearing from his back. He ripped out someone's wings, and he, well, Albion knows about people who actually have wings or even tails or any of that. They are precious towards that person, that being, that whatever species. They are basically precious towards a species. But he wasn't ever expecting the Red Dragon Emperor to be so cruel. Whoever it is quite the cruel son of a bitch. But we go into mostly someone walking down the street with such a vicious grin on his face. This is where, well, he just loves the fact that he's fucking around with so many people. Just because he can just do whatever the fuck. Who is going to literally stop him? Who would actually stop him? Who knows? But this is where he looks at, well, mostly the screen. And he kind of just grins and says, you think I don't know about this? Yes, I know about so many people of you watching. You see here, I can break the fourth wall all I want. Who's gonna stop me? Who will literally stop me? Unless this is where, well, almost a, what's it called, white lightning spear, almost like, well, not spear, almost a white lightning blade, almost like cut his head entirely off. This is where he managed to dodge and actually almost sweat drops. This is where, well, someone actually appears for having a black kind of hood and mostly a black, well, mostly it's like a black kind of jacket with kind of bluish turquoise lightning crackling around him. This is where, well, he also has black pants and black shoes. This is where one of his eyes is crackling with one turquoise blue lightning color of eyes, while his, mostly the white in his eyes is just completely black, but seeping with darkness. This is where, well, in the other eye is an eye patch, but this is where, well, mostly white is actually crackling around it, like white lightning. This is where, well, the scythe is also crackling white lightning. This is where, well, the person says, don't you dare break the fourth wall, you son of a bitch. Get back into your damn fucking universe. This is where, well, mostly Issei sighs and says, fine, whatever. Dark Raku. I will, how should I say, break the fourth wall every time I feel like it. Who will stop me? I know you can easily erase me and destroy me in an instant, but will you really do that? I know you hate gods, and I know you love seeing people suffer. So tell me, would you really erase me from existing just because I break the fourth wall just a couple of times? This is where, well, the person who is now known as Dark Raku kind of looks at him and kind of grins. Not really, you can't barely see his grin because it's covered up with a mask, but this is where, well, mostly he says, well, you got me there, Issei. Or should I say imaginary Issei, because that's pretty much what you are. Your powers is basically imagination. Well, good luck in your adventure, but don't break the fourth wall before I come over there and bonk you with this damn scythe. Understood? This is where, well, mostly Issei says, fine, whatever, I'm going home. Issei decides to walk away, ignoring the fact that he just broke the fourth wall, but deciding to leave. But other than that, I'm thinking of leaving it here off for part 1 of this What If. Hope you guys like it. Maybe not. Other than that, bye, see you, and yeah. Also, I did kind of throw in some Breaking Bad reference, one of them, but not the point. Also, some other reference, but not the point. But yeah, other than that, bye, see you, and yeah.